So I was trying to catch this cat, which was unwell. I think it was the fleas. I don't know what it was. To tell you the truth, that's what the vets do. That's their job, isn't it? Uh, so basically, I don't know what happened. I caught these cat. It had a fit last time. I thought I found out it could be something to do with the fleas. I don't know. So I gave it a flea medication and it stopped clutching at its fur, whatever like that. And so we put it in a transported it into a crush cage. We put it in the crush cage, and within the crush cage, we moved it on in well, I handed it over to these so-called crappy Yovets in the Semitic, right? And I don't know the name of the road. I think it's Londonderry Lane, but I'm not 100% sure. They've killed two of them. They've killed an elderly cat and a kitten now of mine that they were supposed to save. Only why? Because they were strays and there's no money coming to them. Is that the problem? I don't understand. So basically, fuck you. Your cats, your pets, or whatever. Yeah, your vets or whatever. You're a waste of time. You got bit by a feral cat. Well, it's a feral cat. You should have been prepared. And we put it in a crush case. So all you had to do was sedated. You couldn't run no tests. You couldn't do nothing. You gave me a 5 minute, decision to make whether or not you wanted it euthanized or put it back out in the open. Now the people who transported it says they don't want a bad life for it. People have bad lives. These cats born, lived their lives. This cat was alive for years. It would have been alive for another many years. We don't know what was wrong. We don't ever know what would have been wrong because they never did do their job properly, right? They just made a decision on BS. So I would have said brought it back, but obviously they were saying, oh, it would have been out in the open, it would have been living the rest of its life miserable or whatever like that. Yes, it looked sad. People in life are sad, basically, but that doesn't give you the right to put it to sleep, to euthanize the thing. Yeah. And so I just don't know why they would do that. And in the end of the day, they says to me, oh, because the cat bit one of the vets, it was too feral. Well, don't you have? Are you trying to tell me this is the first feral cat that's tried to bite you? I caught this cat. I stroked this cat while it was in his cage, right? Which means that obviously, I don't know. Maybe he was just like that. I don't know, right? So when hi Jace. So basically, giving me a 5 minute decision to make whether or not to end the life of a cat that's been around for years, that's been through hell. I've seen it fight, and I've seen him. Well, I haven't seen it fight, but I've seen it. It was bleeding 5, 6 years ago. The RSPCSA wanted me to just put it in a Walker's crisp box, take it to the vets or whatever like that, which I couldn't do because obviously I didn't know anything about cages and crush cages and all this stuff. I thought I've seen online videos where people are washing cats and the cats are going crazy, and they take it, they watch it. These people, they got bit once by this cat. And they says, "Oh, it's too crazy. We have to put it down, or you have to just send it out, or something like that." Well, send it back out. It lasted longer outside than it would in your bloody vets. It lasted about 2 minutes in your vets or something like that. You can't even do it. I said, give me the cat. I'd look after it. I would have put it in my house. But please, if anything, run some tests just to make sure it's fine. We can't do that. Why can't you do that? I just don't understand. It's too old. What do you mean it's too old? There are old people out there in the world, you don't just put them to sleep because, they're too old or something all of a sudden, So I says I'm not making that decision. The people who took it, I said, if you want to make that decision, that's fine, but I'm not making that decision. I'm not going to catch these cats. That's twice now. The same vet has put a kitten now and an old cat down. Right, so I don't know what the hell they're doing, if they're underqualified or what, right? Making it up as they're going along. But all you had to do was just like, do what I thought you would normally do. You find out that the other cat had a necrosis on its neck, a flesh eating disease. So I don't understand why you couldn't find out what was wrong with this cat. So what if it was old? It would have lasted, I guarantee it would have lasted a lot longer than it would If it was brought back to me, right? Fine, it would have been out on the streets, but it would have kept coming back to me for food or whatever like that, and I would have looked after it. And if I knew what was wrong with this cat, and if it says to me this cat can't be outside all the time, then I would have put it in my house, and he would have said to me, "Yo, B, your house is bad as outside. I'd rather go outside." Now I would have said to him, "Well, then you're gonna be good, if you're outside." I would have trained this cat, and I would have said, "You're gonna be, I'm gonna call him Dwayne." I called him The Rock, because he was looked like he was a wrestler when I first saw him. Like The Rock, basically, like he's been in fights, he can handle itself and everything like that. I tried to feed it well, as much as I could, and I don't know, apparently. They're going to put the cat to sleep, which is I don't know. Sorry, they're going to euthanize the cat. They're not putting this cat to sleep because it's not waking up right. But my question is, right, why can't you just put all the cat, I mean, I'm not just saying like put it to sleep, but I'm just saying, couldn't you just sedate it? Why couldn't you just sedate it and just because you got bit and you're saying it's too feral or something like that? That makes no sense. You're a fucking vet. Your vets, your pets, whatever you call it, Smelly, you're trying to tell me you don't know how to sedate a fucking cat that's in a crushed cage that we did the work for. All you had to do was inject it, find out what was wrong with it. Or the worry it would have a brain thingy down the road or something. But how do you know if it's his brain if you're not going to test it? You don't know what's wrong if it's something wrong on the inside or the outside. You don't want it to be outside on the streets, right? In case it's thingy, but you're not gonna find out what's wrong with it if it's gonna be sick or if it's not gonna be sick. Either not if you're not gonna test it. So it just boggles the mind why you're not just even gonna you know try and help this cat. And so that's two cats now I've given to this place, and they've euthanized euthanized it. Give me 5 minutes to make a decision, right? And I don't even trust the RSPCSA because I know what they would have done. They would have done the same thing, right? So basically, I feel bad trying to save this cat, but in the end of the day, people think by saving a cat, right, is by putting it down. If this cat was in pain, I would have known. Right. Well, no, I'm not saying I would have known. I'm not a mind reader or anything like that. But I did know that there was something wrong with this cat. Dwayne, I'm calling him. And because he's been around for years, he's always coming here for food. Wherever he goes, he had a home. Who knows where he went? Maybe he had a family. I don't know. Maybe he had friends. I don't know. He had a place where he went. I thought he was just gonna get like I don't know, was it neutered? But they didn't even do that, right? They ran no tests. They did nothing. All they did was just give me the option to have it put down. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, but I won't do that. We all survive, but we all don't get bloody put down. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody has an easier life. This cat was surviving for so long outside in the real world, right, without being put down, right, and it was still good, And I thought like only twice I saw it had they can't keep guessing. Oh, it's gonna have seizures. There's something wrong with the brain if you're not gonna test it. I thought it was the fleas because when I gave you that flea medication, it wasn't scratching and clumping at its fur and all that. So if I thought that all I have to do is give it medication once a month, I would have done that. I would say bring it back to my house, but run tests on it. But they wouldn't run any tests on this cat. So it makes me feel bad. Like I tried to save this cat, and in the end, what do? Nothing. They don't do nothing. Besides just put it down. And I think to me it feels like, oh, the cat was going wild. It was going crazy. It bit us. You're a stranger. With stray cats. Have you ever tried to touch a stray cat? They would run away and they'd go crazy. I've been bitten by a cat. because I picked it up once, but it wouldn't let me pet it until I picked it up. Then it kind of bit me because it didn't like being picked up. So then, I let it go, and then obviously for a few days it wouldn't come near me, and so I carried on giving it food, and then I let my lesson. I just stroke it, and it would let me stroke it under its chin and anything like that. So this place in Smithwick, I don't trust you. You lied to me the first time round when I gave you two kittens. You said you gave them both to the Irish piece. You say, oh, they're cuddling, they blah blah blah. Then I found out one of them died, and the other one, you gave away. So, these people, I says, you know what? Don't use my name. You know them well. You go ahead. You use your name, and leave it to you like to do or whatever you can. But sadly, it just wasn't in the stars for this cat. From that place. I'm sure if there was another vet who had maybe more experience, would have had the gloves. I mean, I see online with people with gloves. How did they get bit? Sorry, these ones. What did they think? All of a sudden, this cat was. I told them this cat is a stray cat. Always be prepared. Is that ABC? No, that's not ABC. It's ABP. So always be prepared, right? Wouldn't you have your gloves on? If you're gonna try and grab a cat that's a stray feral cat, expect it. Just because the last cat I gave you was a nice cute cat, probably it was because it had a necrotic disease, right? And he was just like, I don't even think this one was suffering. That one looked like it was suffering because I could smell, the exposed skin and everything like that. So I knew, and thank God that one was saved. I thought this one would have been easy. This one just needs a manicure or catacure, whatever you call it, right? And because I wanted to know why his nose was, red or like it looked like he had a bloody crust on its nose or something like that. But apparently not. I don't know where these Tom, Dick, and Harrys are getting their educations to work at vets, right? I don't know how they get jobs if they can't even look after or sedate a cat. I mean, sedate a cat would be the number one thing. If it was me and I had it and I've seen it online, sedate the cat, do what you need to do. But all the only answer was it's too old. Your fucking assholes, right? Fucking your vets, right? Sorry for the language, right? To me, it feels like you just didn't want to spend any money out your pocket because the cat was too old, right? All you had to do was, well, like they did last time on Facebook, did donations or anything like that, right? But you got the money, you could do it, right? All you had to do is run tests. All you had to do was find out what was wrong with it. How hard is it to find out it was a sick cat, if it had fleas? Hi, random guy. If it had fleas or not, basically. It can't have been that hard, blood tests are hard, basically. So I don't know. Anyway, in the end of the day, if you put the cat down, you're assholes for doing that. Simple as that. I have to yap, man. I caught this cat thinking it was gonna be, and that's what I'm doing on here. I'm yapping away. Basically, I thought it would have been saved or looked after, but apparently not. No, so goodbye to this cat. R.I.P. Going to get Dwayne. Cat's gone. Cat's gone. It's gone. It's gone to the vets. It's on the video earlier on when I trapped it. It's an orange cat. You'll see on the videos anyway. But I was stroking it earlier on. I was waiting for them to take it to the vets. They took it to the vets. The vets apparently I got a phone call saying that it bit the vet or something like that. I thought the vets would have had the gloves on, or when you transfer it from a cage to a crush cage. So when you pull the cage and then you inject it, I thought they would have sedated it and treated it and to find out, do blood tests and do that, blah 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 blah. But within the same day to find out that you need a decision to make. You can either let the cat out back into its area where it's gonna, I don't know, suffer whatever hell it's been suffering. It's been like that for 6 years. I've known this cat, right? It's been out and about. I'm sure if this cat was out and about, it would have been all right for another year. It would have been alive. But apparently, I don't know. It's because it's a feral and it's a stray cat. It's costly. That's how they do it. So anyway, that's the last of that cat that you can see. But I did stroke it though. That what I was saying. I would say bring the cat back, but run the test. Apparently not. Maybe it costs money. I don't know. I don't know how much it costs money to put a cat down, um, compared to actually taking blood tests or something like that. I don't know, but I'm sure it's not that much. But I don't know. I'll do my research and I'll find out. But yes, the cat's on the video when I trapped it, and some video when I'm actually stroking it with my finger, which is dangerous because I thought it was gonna, I'll come back with like my finger like that or something like that. So that never happened. I think the cat was just like, all right, you got me now. I'm in this box, wherever you put me, and I'll come back for you. and so anyway, it's gone to the vets. I thought the vets are going to send it to RSPCSA. Some of them send them to farms where they chase rats or something like that, but they just didn't know what was wrong with the cat because they never did no tests. Simple as as that. So that was the one thing I did today. I made a video about the cat. It's online anyway, and I thought yes, this cat will be saved. Apparently not. But another cat that I caught last week had necrosis, a flesh-eating disease on its neck, and I thought it was a necklace hanging out, but apparently not. It was its skin that had been, I don't know, ruptured or burst or something like that, tangled with its fur or something. Anyway, peace out, random guy, and everybody else. And the Yapper says, hello to everybody. See you all soon. And your vets and medic, I don't give a fuck about them. Done that to me twice now, so I don't trust them. See you all later. From